It is Sunday the 4th of September at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, and this is the NZ Travel Show.
And I'm Laura, and this is Robin, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. Now that the borders are fully reopened, and it is the perfect time. And now is the perfect time to start planning your dream getaway to New Zealand. So you can do that for 100% free on NZPocketGuide.com. However, if you're not really into reading, well, this is what the NZ Travel Show is all about. You guys can come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to the experts, and we go through every single comment and answer every single question. But if you do miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, and our good guy Robin here will reply pretty swiftly. He's pretty good at that.
I do reply to everybody. All right, let's just arrange that. Here you go. I think you can still hear Laura.
Classic mic issues.
Yeah. I have to be honest, I was working on something else, and then it was just kind of like last minute, like, oh my god, we kind of forgot.
Do we need a checklist of like things to do before the live session?
I feel like, we've done, I think it's 190 something live session right now.
We're coming up to our 200th
in a few weeks,
live show soon, so you'd think we would have got the hang of this by now.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just been fixed. It's only one quick click. Okay, so we have Nathan Bates that says, Kia ora, morena, everyone. Laura, what does morena mean?
It means good morning in the Maori language, which is the indigenous language of New Zealand.
We also have Adil Mula says, Kia ora, Robin, Laura, and all the viewers. I love that he remembers the viewers every single time. I think that's very lovely. Now we also have Aiken, I'm going to pronounce it Aiken Aso, or Aken Aso.
Or Akane
Ase,
maybe.
Yeah, okay. And she says, good morning. I'm finally here on time. I'm finally here in New Zealand, so on the same time zone. Welcome to New Zealand. That's really awesome. It does help if we're on the same time zone to kind of calculate when we go live, but you can always get the notification whenever it works on Google. You never know when it works with YouTube, but you can always get a notification. But we're glad to know that you're in New Zealand. Where are you at? Tell us what's the plan. Where are you traveling to? Come on, we wanna know about your travel plans, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, Adil say hopefully today the show runs smoothly. Yeah, so that was a bit of a hiccup last week, and to be quite fair, we had issues with our internet connection for the whole day after that. So it was just like some issues with the internet, but the Patreon live session ran for way longer than planned. And it worked really well last week. So for some reason, we had like a good hour and a half that kind of worked smoothly. And then after that, it was absolutely terrible internet for us. So here you go. When you join us on Patreon, you get twice the shot at seeing terrible mishaps of the internet. Okay, Lawrence, what is Lawrence saying? All the way from Boston.
Lawrence is saying...
Boston.
Kia ora, Laura, Robin, and everyone. And also a little comment there to tell us about their mic issues. Thank you for that. And we have Sander DeVries.
Hey, Sander, how you doing, mate? Are you making it to the Patreon live session today? There is a lot today because you guys asked me to take a lot of picture at the supermarket, so we're going to go through all that, and there is a lot of photos to go through.
So Sander says, good morning, how are you doing?
We're doing really well. So this is the first week of spring in New Zealand, so we're basically getting rid of the cold, and we are bringing in the rain, and that's basically what has been happening this week. Just a lot of rain, but it's warmer, it's nicer, and we're pretty excited. We're pretty excited about that. All right, Clay is here. How are you doing, Clay? We missed you last week, mate. Lawrence says perfect, so I fixed the mic. And Violet Zulu, all the way from South Africa, says good morning, guys.
Good morning.
And what is Kiwi Lawrence saying from Saskatchewan?
Kiwi Lawrence says, hi Robin and Laura, Rock of Ages is done. Summer holidays are over and we are back to school. Crazy busy already, and we are at the start of our long weekend, thank goodness. Hope you're well and warm. We are certainly getting warmer now, that's for sure. Actually, this winter, I did read an interesting fact this morning that the winter we had in New Zealand this year was the third warmest winter in a row. So each winter has been getting increasingly warmer in New Zealand.
Some skiffies have had to literally close because the snow is just non-existent basically. So it's not so good. It's not so good.
So it is quite warm indeed. Okay. Akane, or Akane, I still don't know even with the pronunciation they're giving us right now, saying, you did a great on the attempt. It's Nay,
I
right?
love the fact that Laura took it.
I still don't know if I'm saying it correctly. But hopefully that's right.
Okay.
Apologies if not.
So then they continue saying they're currently in Tepuke. Not having a car here is really challenging.
Yeah.
And the weather is helplessly cold for me.
No.
I come from a tropical country. Is it cold for you right now? You should have come 2 months ago. That would have been really cold.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Well, if
yeah.
you're coming from a tropical country, it's not exactly tropical weather right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So in Tepuke, well, there's quite a fair amount of good things to do. Honestly, so you should be good. And traveling around New Zealand by bus is actually quite easy. It's just going to all the little pit stops and everything, which is a little bit more challenging. But you should be good. Let us know where you want to go next, and we can help out. And
I think you can always I think there are city buses going between Tepuke and Tauranga, so you could go to Tauranga and or visit Mount Maunganui. Very beautiful beaches there, so that could be an option. But yeah, if you are just solely based in Tepuke and just trying to get around to some nearby hotspots, which there are some really cool like walks to waterfalls nearby and that sort of thing, it can obviously be a bit challenging. But once you hit the road and get on the intercity bus, something like that, then you can start visiting some interesting places.
Okay, I realized that I missed Walter White saying Christchurch or Wellington for working as a construction labouring and as a backpacker.
I think
I will send you to Christchurch. First up, I'm going to send you to Christchurch because as a backpacker, the South Island is going to be your bloody paradise, honestly. So I think you should go to Christchurch because that's a fantastic base. You have access to, you're not too far from the Kaikoura, the Ahadma Springs, the Akarora, which are all absolutely amazing to visit. You're not too far from the Southern Alp, going all the way to Methven. So it's a fantastic location to work because you can get some really cool weekends out, like a couple of days out and go exploring. I think you're going to really love that. If you're in Wellington, exploring the Wellington area is really good, but you're kind of like at the bottom of the North Island, right? And so kind of getting out for a weekend, you can basically reach like Whanganui or something like that, but then it's just a lot of driving. So I will suggest more staying in Christchurch. To be quite honest, as a construction labourer in New Zealand, you will find work very easily. Like this is in dire need here, so you won't struggle no matter what. But if I had to choose one, go to Christchurch. But pretty much every city in New Zealand will kind of want you, right? You'll be able to find a job pretty much everywhere. In fact, Clay, which is a local right now, he is working as a plumber in Dunedin, and literally his comment is, Walter, Dunedin needs you. So here you go.
You can even choose Dunedin.
Yeah, no, seriously, you can go in many places. If Dunedin is a place that you will consider, I will actually suggest Dunedin over Wellington and Christchurch because same thing, there's really a lot of stuff exploring, but the cost of living is going to be slightly cheaper, and the town itself is really awesome. And you'll have like a very vibrant town and everything. So if you were to want to go to Dunedin, go nuts, Walter White. Hopefully you're not going into any mischiefs over there.
I was going to say maybe the meth business isn't doing so well, so you're looking into construction. I get that.
So it's hard to push your bad stuff, indeed. All right. So just before we keep going with the comments, so obviously there is plenty of comments. We can keep going. That's awesome. Let's go over the question of the day quickly.
Ooh, extra clicks in there.
Yeah. Question of the day, question of the day. Oh, okay, you guys are still here. All right, so the question of the day today is, did you guys watch the new Lord of the Rings series? So did you watch it? Yes, not yet, or Lord of the what? Did you guys watch the new Lord of the Rings series, which came out a couple of days ago? We haven't, so no spoilers. We haven't just yet. We like to have multiple episodes to watch. It's just too frustrating to watch one and have to wait super long for watching the next one. All right, so where are we at? Nathan, what is Nathan saying?
Nathan, one of our regulars, is saying, what is your favorite things to do in the spring season?
Oh, Laura, do you have a favorite thing?
Well, my favorite thing to do, okay, this is what I like to do at any season in New Zealand, but I particularly like to do in spring, I like to go hiking because that's, most people like to go hiking in the summer. The trails can be a little, hardly ever crowded in New Zealand, let's be honest. But, you're more likely to come across a few people. Maybe huts are a little bit busier in summer.
Yep.
So therefore, I prefer to go in spring when the weather's just getting better or starting to get a little bit warmer. But if you are in areas like the South Island, and you'll still see that there's snow on the mountains. So often if you're Usually it's all right if you're not hiking in the snow, but
Yeah.
if you get views of the mountains with the snow, it's usually really pretty, and I enjoy that.
My favorite to do in the spring also has to do with the snow, and it is whitewater rafting.
I knew you were going to say
Yes,
that.
so in spring, this is when a lot of the snow melts, and therefore all the rivers and the whitewater rafting areas of New Zealand are getting more gushing, and there's bigger and just more raging rapids, right? I do like my whitewater rafting to be quite epic. Even for beginners, there's still some cool whitewater rafting place to do, but still in spring, this is the best time to do whitewater rafting, in my personal opinion, just because you get more water, you get more gushing, and you feel this more epicness. And come on, if you're doing whitewater rafting and you're not soaking wet at the end, you have done it wrong. So here you go, that's my favorite thing to do in the spring. Helen Wilkinson says, good evening, Robin and Laura from England.
Good evening.
Yes, what is Ash having to say?
Ash says, Kia ora, Robin and Laura. Got our visas.
Congratulations, mate.
Can't wait to get to New Zealand.
Nice
Woohoo.
one. So I'm assuming it's a working holiday visa to come to New Zealand. Tell us a little bit more, Ash. We do like context in this live show, guys.
Kiwi Lauren says, Reed is watching with me today. He just started grade 1 2 days ago. Year 2 in New Zealand. Question mark. We wouldn't know either, to be fair.
How are you doing, Reed? You doing okay, Reed? How's school? Is school good for you? Do you like it, or do you want to stay with mummy at home all the time? What is she saying after that?
And then she says, he's always amazed when you say hi to him on these live videos.
There you go, done. Easy peasy. Rafa Cat says, good morning, guys. Sorry I'm late. Leeds. Just shout the name of places.
Yeah.
Is it a new thing, guys? You just shout names of places?
I do prefer that introduction now, Rafa Cat, where you just add leads onto the end. It's always fun to read.
Okay, so Aken says, you did great. That's right. All right. Okay, so we'll stick to that.
Hey, I think since we've had so much fun trying to pronounce your
No,
name...
no, there's somebody else.
Oh,
There's
yeah?
somebody else. Sorry. I know Aken, next week you're coming, but like there's somebody else right now.
Okay.
I did see it. I did consider it.
Yeah, okay, I see which one you... We'll get to it.
Aken, you've got to come next week. You've got to come up next week. I'm sorry. Okay, so JT says, aloha from Alaska. Isn't it aloha from Hawaii? I think it's Hawaii, right? What? Okay, do Alaskans say aloha? I mean, you're going to have to tell us more, JT. We are very confused.
I hear that the weather's similar.
Okay, so JT says, just over 50 days away from arriving in Auckland. Super excited, celebrating 30 years anniversary. Congratulations, guys. That's a while. That's awesome. And says 2 years later, because of COVID, so we cancelled our New Zealand trip. You have been super helpful. Thank you. We're very happy to help you more, even if you do have more questions. Go ahead, mate. Yeah, that's really awesome that he says they are Hawaiian living in Alaska. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, you definitely did confuse us, JT. Like, I have to be honest. Yeah, that's awesome. 30 years. So where did you go for your honeymoon 30 years ago? What was the trip? Was it New Zealand? Are you circling back to come back to New Zealand now, or is there some other stories right here? Anyway, that's really awesome, mate. Yeah, feel free to ask some questions. What is Aiken saying?
Akane.
Akane.
Yeah, I found buses around, but the travel time is way longer, and I do have motion sickness if I'm not behind the wheel. I've got some pills for that though. So far, it's working. Well, that's good.
Nice. Yeah. Also, a good tip is to actually pick the seat just right behind the driver.
Yeah.
I too get motion sickness quite often in buses, and when I sit just like in the front row, I significantly have less motion sickness. It works for me. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to work for you. It's probably psychosomatic. Let's be honest. But yeah, it works for me, so maybe try it.
Keeping your eyes up and on the horizon is usually the key to that. But yeah, sucks to have travel sickness, especially travel writers having travel sickness. I mean, that's a dire situation right now.
Anthony Comstock is finally here, and he says, Morena from Rodeo, California. Sorry I'm late, but the lady at the house, Terry's mom, had an accident, so we are at the hospital with her.
Again?
You're spending half your time at the hospital, mate.
Oh, no.
You need to start be careful. Tell all your friends to be careful.
Yeah.
I feel like every 2 weeks you're telling me you're at the hospital. No, that's no good. All right, now. Somebody is called Question of the Day, and literally every week I sing Question of the Day as we have the Question of the Day on this show. So therefore, you must have the best username of the week. So, person called Question of the Day, here's your award today. It's very valuable. No, I don't. I sing for the question today. And therefore, that's even more valuable. So here you go. So that's a worthless award, but here you go. Before we read your comments, question of the day, you have the best username of the week. Question of the day. Woo! Question of the day. You see, you can't even help yourself. All right, let's go. What is he or she? I think she saying.
I'm staying in Waiuku for a couple of days as my partner is there for work. Do you know if there are any nice walks or anything else to do in the area? Well, if we head over to nzpocketguide.com.
Yes, of course. Let's go to nzpocketguide.com. Go for it, Laura.
And we search Waiuku. I'm pretty sure we do have an article of things to do there. Otherwise, this might be a little bit embarrassing. But I do believe we have one available. Do we, Robin?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's bring that up and let's go through it.
Okay, so just right here you have the best thing to do in Waiuku. So let me put myself on screen right here. So yeah, there is quite a lot to do in Waiuku right here. You can go to this. This is my favorite thing to do, this lighthouse right here, because it is actually quite a short walk to get there. So it is a longish drive, you know. I mean, it's gonna be about 40k to drive, but the walk to get there is actually quite cool. And if you do have better weather than that, literally you can see quite far out at sea, which is quite nice. So yeah, and you have Laura right here checking out the Waiuku Museum. So here you go, look at her visiting the museum. But yeah, there is quite a few things to do. Nice beaches around, nice little walks. But yeah, my favorite one would be to go to the Manukau Heads Lighthouse if you want a nice short walk, which will not going to be too strenuous. Now, what I'm going to do, so obviously you can go to nzpocketguide.com and type Waiuku in the search bar, but otherwise I'm also going to give you the link right here in the live chat, so you'll be able to find that for you. Question of the day, yeah, question of the day. Obviously, that's such a good name. All right, so yeah, that's what we have for you in Waiuku. So we have a full article with about like 10 things to do. You know, we put 12, but there is always 2 which you like never interested in. You know, like there is taste for everybody, right? And yeah, so my favorite walk will be to go to the lighthouse.
And for anybody that is watching and doesn't know where Waiuku is, it is in South Auckland area, so it's in this Auckland region.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little bit off the beaten track for most people. Not a lot of people do end up visiting there, but
it's one of those places that literally it's only people that would be working like
exactly,
that and have some time that
yes.
want to do things around. So
yeah. Okay, we are moving on to...
So we had question of the day. Helen
says, I got my traveller declaration pass today.
Nice one.
Nice. So that
hopefully that's going to get scrapped, this whole nonsense, soon, but I don't think it's happening.
So you must be coming to New Zealand pretty soon then. That's pretty exciting. We have Nathan saying...
Wait, isn't it within 28 days?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
she's coming within 28 days.
Yeah,
there you go, investigation.
Less than a month she is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan says, I may have to agree with Robin for whitewater rafting, but I also like doing some hiking. Well, do both.
Yeah, maybe that's your cue here. Yeah. Do both.
I mean, like you can finish whitewater rafting and then hike all the way back. How about that? Okay, we have Clay was responding to question, saying that she should get the name of the day.
Here you go,
so...
Clay. We thought alike right here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm singing that every time. I have to give her the award.
Ash is confirming that it's not a working holiday. It's a visitor visa. We get the visa approved within 2 weeks, if anyone was wondering. So a lot of people, if you're not from a visa waiver country for coming to New Zealand, then you do have to physically apply for a visitor visa. So physically, yes. You know, you have to. It's more of an active thing you have to do rather than passively just going to the airport and getting your passport stamped. Which people from visitor waiver.
There's a lot of gestures here. Passive. This is passively, guys. From now on, you need to know this means passively.
Did you not know that I know sign language?
No, I did not.
So so if you're from a visa waiver country, then usually you just have to go to the airport with your passport, and that is kind of your visa is given to you. But otherwise, for other people that aren't from the 42 visa waiver countries have to go through a process.
But that's good that it only took 2 weeks. It's good that it only took 2 weeks. They were significantly slower, especially when restarting after COVID. They were very, very slow. So, it's good. Like 2 weeks, it should shrink to the average. It used to be about a week and a half. So it should get back to that. But yeah, 2 weeks is actually not bad for where we are at right now. Okay, so we have Kiwi Lauren. Reed says he likes school. We have fun together, but lots of friends and learning at school is probably the best way than
Is
non-stop
way
mom.
better than
Oh, yeah.
non-stop mom.
Yep, and she says he loves to travel too. New Zealand would be his future someday. Oof, that's
be
going to be
fun.
exciting. That's going to be a lot of fun, mate. You need to start doing your research. You need to tell your mum what you want to do in New Zealand, though. Don't let her decide everything you're doing. You got to make this trip your own.
Yes, exactly.
You got to come and take a working holiday visa and come to New Zealand. That's what you need to do. Get a bit of a gap year experience.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, so Helen Wilkinson says, I fly from the UK a week on Friday. That is exciting. That is really exciting. Yeah, you're going to have an absolute blast. We just said goodbye to Oriol, one of our Patreon, that just finished, he wrapped up his trip, his honeymoon trip in New Zealand. So that was pretty cool. Like we start seeing some regular people that's coming back and everything. He shared like 80 photos on Patreon. So we went through all that last week. That was really fun. I just love you guys for it too. Okay.
Kiwi Lauren says, saving for New Zealand travel again, but a new side hustle project is going to take me away during the live chat times again. Music directing Beauty and the Beast starting next week, just like I did Frozen last year. Ooh,
we do a rendering of the Beauty and the Beast every single week on YouTube, so you sorted. Look at that. Just pin that as your homework. All right, Baby Burn is here and saying, sup guys. Guys.
With a little heart emoji.
I got really confused because the next two comments are with the same brown colors.
Yeah.
So I thought that was back-to-back messages. I was like, no, stop. Okay, so Akane or Akane. Let's just keep on butchering that name. Yeah. Saying good tip. I'll try that next time. You're very welcome. Let's see if sitting in front of the bus helps.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, Kiwi Lowen says, so I'll be busy teaching music to kids on Saturdays until December. I will tune when I can, of course, but missing the live chat will be a sacrifice I'm willing to make to pad that New Zealand travel fun. Indeed, I mean, if you actually get paid for that, if it just adds to your NZ travel money, go nuts, nuts. Reeds just noticed that we didn't like the video yet, so he asked if I could like it. I did, and then he asked if we could give it another like. What a great NZ Pocket. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, well, somebody else want to like the video on behalf of Reeds, that'd be lovely. And just obviously type it in the comments and tell us that you did it on behalf of Reeds. Okay, nice. Rafa Cat says, I am visiting New Zealand North Island in January for 2 weeks. What should my budget be? How much money should I carry with me? All right, so if you're spending 2 weeks on the North Island, and you're planning on actually doing, some activities and everything like that, we actually do have something really helpful for you on the website. So I'm going to show it to you because literally you're going to see prices on screen, which is quite handy. So if you go on travel advice right here, and then you click on budget, and on here we're gonna have actually like how much money you need per day of travel, per month of travel, and we actually also have a video on the channel that we released recently, but here's called NZ Travel Budget. How much does the trip in New Zealand cost? And so that will help you kind of understand the type of prices that you are expected. So, if you are looking at, for example, for car rentals, about $90 per day, plus a private room at $90 per day, plus full food, doing a bit of a mix of self-catering and eating out, because $50 is very little. And then activities, let's put $100, that's $330 per day. That would be doing it in a conservative kind of manner. And so therefore, for 2 weeks, that will be 4,620 New Zealand dollars. And we obviously do have a video about that just right here you can play, but then we detail everything. So depending on which transport you want to have, so we have the car hire, the camper van hire, the petrol, all these kind of things. So we have everything just right here, so you can literally just tally up everything that you tend to want to do. So let's say you don't want to stay in a hostel, in a dorm, you prefer staying in a hotel room, but then we do have like the kind of average prices that you expected to pay right here. So you can just select this one rather than selecting oh my god, I am terrible with the mice, selecting that one. Anyway, this one here, where my mice is showing, etc. So for the food, same thing. We have the main meals in restaurants right here, but you also have like the fast food pizzas, the Big Mac, those kind of things. So you have everything right here, as well as all the cost of the different activities that you may want to be doing. So therefore, that will definitely help you calculate your entire trip. So I will put that article right here for everybody in the live chat, because I think that you guys are going to find that super useful. I'm having mice issues today. This is annoying me, and I changed the battery this morning. But yeah, so I think that's going to be really helpful for you. But about $4,620, if you want to do it conservatively, will be the price that we will put on a 2 weeks holiday in New Zealand. That's my detailed answer for you, Rafakat. What is Armand, our lovely Patreon, saying?
Armand says, salutations, everyone.
Bonjour, Armand.
I cannot wait to come to land in Auckland in exactly a month. Nothing will be the same as back home. And then he continues to say, I'm practicing for a learner's license test. Never thought I'd get my driver's license in New Zealand, to be honest. But it's super easy compared to France's.
Yep, it is definitely much easier. I mean, I got my driver license in France, and I've seen what the process is here in New Zealand. I'm like, I understand why their driving skills are slightly different and a tad more reckless, but yeah, damn, it is way easier to do it in. And also you'll notice way cheaper, because you have less courses to do, so therefore in France you have to pay for much more, so you'll save beaucoup monnaie.
And then when you go back to France, can you then convert your New Zealand
you can convert it,
license?
but I think they have, or maybe they have not, but they were thinking of like adding some tests for like people that convert from overseas and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll have to do some research on that, Armand. I obviously haven't been in France for like many moons. Many moons. So almost 2 decades. I don't know. 2 decades? No, I don't know. A long time. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. What's JT saying?
Going back up to JT saying, any fun travel advice for a few hour layover in Nandi, Fiji to and fro? Well.
Yes, definitely. Yes. I think you should contact the good people from a company called Uniquely Fiji, and they do airport transfer, but they also do tours. So if you contact them, they may be able to just take you from the airport and need to take you to 1 or 2 spots, right? And if I was to suggest one, just because it's a lot of fun, I would actually go to the Sabeto mud pools just to relax. You've done a long flight and everything. That'd be really fun. So you go to Nandi, you contact this company called Uniquely Fiji, say hi from us, and they'll take good care of you. They know us. They're really nice. And ask them to take you to the Sabeto mud pools and do like some good fun mud pools and everything. Rinse yourself and get back in your plane. Otherwise, they can also take you to like some of the resorts, or like Nandi is not really the best beach kind of area to explore in Fiji. So you could go to some of the resorts in the Denaro area, which are like really big, massive resorts, but that'll be a bit less authentic than the cool Sabeto mud pool, which it would be the one I recommend. If you don't want to have to put on your bathing suit and do that nonsense, you can head to the Garden of the Sleeping Giants.
Well, they include both in their Nandi tour.
Yeah, I'm unsure if they're gonna have the time to do both on a few hours layover. So you can, you will have to ask them if they can do something a bit more tailored. But as I said, because they know us and you ask nicely, they're likely to do it for you. So you can go to the Garden of the Sleeping Giant as well, which is a fantastic tropical garden like you've never seen before. It's really, really, really amazing.
Yeah. And if you want more advice, we do have on FijiPocketGuide.com. I think we're up to 20 things to do in Nandi now. So if you did want to have a look at some alternative things to do, some alternative tours, etc., then take a look at that article on FijiPocketGuide.com. Or shall I keep on talking? Yes. So obviously we have tons of just like our NZPocketGuide.com website, where we have, did I already mention, thousands of articles to help you plan your trip to New Zealand. Well, we also have the equivalent in Fiji called FijiPocketGuide.com, where you can basically
look, you see, we're recommending Uniquely Fiji right here. That's the company that we know and trust.
Yes, so you can take a look at our things to do in Nandi, and just so you know, Nandi is how you pronounce it. I know the spelling is Nadi, so a lot of people think it's called Nadi, but you do pronounce it in Fiji as Nandi. And there's us at the mud pools, which is a lot of fun. That's one of the closest attractions to Nandi town that you can do. And there's Uniquely Fiji do a really awesome tour to take you there. So that's ideal when you have limited time and no other transport methods of getting around. Then that's really the best thing that you can do to save time, but also make the most of that time by exploring the area.
The one thing I'm going to say, though, is that you're coming quite soon, so you'd have to kind of like contact them earlier on to get things sorted. It's not something you can just plan at the last minute.
Yeah.
So, that's the one thing I'm going to say. Well, I like it. And I promise on the photos, that was the both of us. It's hard to tell, but that was the both of us, I promise. That photo was not a lie. I was just looking. I was like, look at it. I was like, is that? Yeah, it is us. I even had a hard time recognizing us, but I recognize the board shorts.
Yeah.
Okay. Sander is saying something.
Says, how long do you think I should spend in Auckland setting up my bank account and IRD number?
Well, we usually recommend a week. I actually posted a video literally this week or the week before on the channel with how to do the first 7 days on your working holiday visa. So I'd be happy to go over that with you if you want, maybe during a Patreon live show if you're interested in doing that. But yeah, I would suggest just about a week, and that'll be absolutely fine. Now, the bank called ANZ has actually started doing bank account opening before arriving in New Zealand. So we're looking into that. I'm just looking at what's the details on all that, and I'll share that with you guys in Patreon group shortly, because I think that would be of interest for Armand as well.
I just want to add to that, because I did update the article recently.
Oh, you did already?
I know,
what I sent you or no?
With an alternative for all the other banks.
Okay,
and what generally happens with the other banks, which is kind of similar to the ANZ as well, is that they will open a sort of inactive bank account for you, so you still you can sort of do most of the work before you come to New Zealand, but then once you arrive in New Zealand you need to make an appointment with the bank and actually go there in person with the appropriate ID, that sort of thing, and then only then can you actually open your bank account fully and start taking money out. But by opening an inactive bank account before you arrive in New Zealand, that means you can transfer some money into that account before you arrive. So if you want to have that sort of prepared before coming, because usually that can take maybe a couple of days to happen, if you are to do it on the spot, then it's a good way to make sure that you have some funds available in a New Zealand bank account before you arrive in New Zealand. So we do have an article on nzpocketguide.com on how to open a bank account in New Zealand. And that's been updated very, very recently. So just making sure that it's all the same for across the banks. So if you want to just take a look at that, and that gives you some more advice on ways to open a bank account once you arrive in New Zealand, whether you can do it before you arrive in New Zealand, etc.
And so in order to find that article, you just go on NZ Pocket Guide, and the only thing you type is open bank account, and you'll find the first article. But I also put the link for you in the live chat because I'm so nice.
So nice.
So Armand says, I have already opened my NZ account and transferred money to it and called them to make my appointment for 2 days after my arrival. They asked me to bring documents such as proof of address. Indeed. So that will be a proof of address in New Zealand. Just so you know, you cannot use a proof of address overseas. It will have to be a New Zealand proof of address that you can ask your accommodation provider to give you. But yes, so that's the thing. The process is getting a little smoother now. It used to be a bit more of a pain, but yeah. So I'd say a week, so like that you also can just set up with the jet lag and everything. And if you have, like for example, after the week, and I'm going back to Sander's question, right? Even if you feel like you're ready to start traveling after 4 days or something, there's still some really awesome things to do in Auckland. Again, like we keep on talking about Rangitoto Island, Tiritiri Matangi, but for example, going to Rangitoto Island is a fantastic day out, and it literally costs you the price of a ferry ticket, which is about $30. Is that correct?
About
So it's like relatively cheap. It's return that don't leave you over there. So it's a fantastic way to explore the Hauraki Gulf, see the Auckland skyline, be able to climb a volcano. There's a volcanic island. There's even lava caves, lava field, and everything. It's really, really fun. So
definitely recommended. I just want to add to that proof of address aspect that a lot of people on working holidays do ask about, like, how do I get a proof of address in New Zealand when I've only just arrived. Well, if you are arriving in Auckland, especially, the hostels there are very used to working holiday makers staying in their hostels at the beginning of their trip, and then they have services, kind of like limited services, but they have services basically in place to be able to arrange like a letter which is your proof of address, which is just using the hostel address. But it's definitely a good idea if you're staying in a hostel, which is definitely the more cost-effective way to stay in Auckland, is to ask at reception, like, is there, I'm here on a working holiday. Is there any chance that you guys can provide a proof of address for me so I can open my bank account? And a lot of hostels in Auckland do exactly that and do help a little bit, with the whole working holiday thing. So bear that in mind. And we do have tons of advice on nzpocketguide.com over the work in New Zealand tab. So check that out for more advice like that.
Nice. Okay, so let me go over the other comments that we are having right now. I'm sorry, we're having a couple of quick technical difficulty, but that's going to be okay. All right, Baby Burn says, is there? No, Kiwi Lauren we missed. She says, would you recommend getting a New Zealand cash before I leave Canada? Because she says, after that, she says, I would like to just make sense to mostly use a credit card rather than taking cash out. The problem with the credit card, Kiwi Lauren, is that you're going to get yourself a lot of... Ooh, what's going on?
What is going on?
I'm very confused.
Did you pause
All right.
it?
No, I don't know. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I think we're live. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so she says she mostly want to use a credit card. So again, your credit card is probably going to charge you a bit of fee and a few percentage, especially when using your credit card, your overseas credit card in shops and everything. So you actually are better off kind of getting some cash out. There's, you can do it for ease. You just have to know that you will have this extra fee. Both, even if your bank says you're not going to get fees, you're going to have a disadvantageous exchange rate. It's well known. So. There's not much of a way to go around that, to be quite honest. It's kind of like you can either get cash or you can kind of have to pay a bit extra. I don't have an answer for that, basically. It's kind of like, yeah, that's your two options. Yeah.
Do you want to give, shall I give my take on it? Or?
Yeah, go for it.
It's just basically like, getting cash out before arriving in New Zealand is the most convenient way. Just, it's more like you might have to pay a little bit more than some of the exchange rates once you arrive in the cities of New Zealand, not at the airports, because the airports are really bad exchange rates. But yeah, once you arrive in the cities of New Zealand, there's, especially in Auckland, there's a lot of competition between the different exchange bureaus. So we usually recommend, if you're wanting to save quite a bit of money, is to actually exchange currency once you arrive in New Zealand and when you're in places like Auckland, where it has like a lot of competition. However, it's not ideal for everyone. It's not convenient for everyone because maybe not everybody wants to go into the center of Auckland to do that. So it's basically what you find most convenient for you, which tends to be what we lean towards.
So Armand has a good recommendation. He says, I recommend using Revolut or Wise to be able to pay in New Zealand with New Zealand dollars directly. So we used Wise, extensively, and we recommend it as well. And Wise and Revolut have the same kind of fees and everything, but it's still never going to be as cheap as cash, right? So it's kind of like it's just using another system, and you still have some fees. I mean, we do use Wise quite regularly, and that's why that's the one we recommend on the site if you want to use it. But yeah, you still have fees like quite consistently all the time. Like I do transfer, and it tells you, at least it's really clear what kind of fees you're getting on those kind of transfers, but you still have fees, so it's not going to be the cheapest. The cheapest is going to be cash at that point. All right, so we have JT that says Fiji Pocket Guide. Nice. Yeah, we do have Fiji Pocket Guide, Tonga Pocket Guide, Niue Pocket Guide, Cook Islands Pocket Guide. So yeah, we do have some for you, mate. We do travel a lot around our little area of the world. Baby Burn says, is there any places that you haven't gone to in New Zealand? What's the ultimate list? And does Bora, I guess. Yeah, Bora too. Bora, also included in your other Pocket Guide site. So no, we don't have Bora. We don't really have Tahiti. It is a French-speaking island, which would be fine for me, but would be a bit hard for Laura. And writing a whole travel guide in French, knowing that she doesn't speak French, would be a bit tough. So that's why we don't have that. We stick to like English-speaking places for now until French becomes perfect. Laura, would you like to speak in French to our audience?
Sans souci.
Oh.
Sans chaussettes.
Here you go. Sans souci, sans chaussettes. All the French speaker right here. You should know what that means. And you can tell that I'm a really good teacher.
Yes.
Because I told her when traveling around the South Pacific, although she said it the wrong way around.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's sans chaussettes, sans souci.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I told her the only sentence you need in the South Pacific, just to relax a little bit, is sans chaussettes, sans souci. And what does it mean for our English speaker?
It means no socks, no worries.
Exactly. No socks, no worries. Wiggle your toes. That's the only thing I taught Laura in French.
That's all I need to know, apparently.
So for that reason, we don't have Bora Bora. Now.
Shall I do some talking?
Can you guys hear us better now? Sorry.
Is that better for you guys?
Yeah.
Let us know.
I actually just got that. Sound has gone. Is the gun sound back here? Can you unplug just the hard drive? Just the hard drive I'm getting? Unplug the whole line. Yep, perfect. Better. Okay, cool. All right, sorry. So where's the last thing that you guys heard us say? What do we need to say? What's the
What
hubs?
were we talking about before that all went?
I apologize for that because we just gave some good and insightful information to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you saying? Okay, quick recap. We were telling to Lawrence that she asked which purchase to make with cash that we recommend, and I said the smallest the purchase, the better. So the smaller the purchase, the better, because usually it's you get a minimum fee on there. You were going over the different guides available. Oh yeah. So why don't we? Oh, they didn't hear you speak French. So I think you get a retry right here.
No.
So why don't we have a Tahiti guide? Because Laura's extent to the mastery of the French language is
sans chaussettes, sans souci.
Which means
no socks, no worries.
Wiggle your toes. This is the only thing
it doesn't feel quite as fun when we have to repeat it all.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the only thing that I taught Laura to say in French, and so for this reason we don't have Tahiti, Bora Bora, which is there. Places that we haven't visited in New Zealand, so we also answered and we said that Chatham Island we haven't been to. It's quite far away from New Zealand. It belongs to New Zealand, but there's very little tourists going there. And I personally haven't been to Great Barrier Island, but Laura has, so that's pretty good. What else did we say? Sander says, can you apply for IRD number before arriving in New Zealand? No, you cannot. because they need to cite your ID. So you can start like now. It's just really just happened recently that you can do your bank account with ANZ, but not with the IID number. And for Sean, we were explaining that sadly we do not have any kids or have any experience in the education system in New Zealand, since we both are the education system elsewhere. So sadly we don't have much recommendation. We're more of a travel channel. I think that's the quick recap right here.
Yeah. Kiwi Laura say we did hear the French the first time, but love the second time as well. Good job, Laura. Bravo, belle fille.
Yeah. It's an insult.
Is it?
No. Okay, Kiwi Lauren says, good advice. So take cash out. I remember using cash exclusively on my previous trips to New Zealand and when I lived there 15 years ago, but I thought maybe things had changed with the times. The bank's fees only go higher. The things change for the wrong way.
And if you lived here 15 years ago, if you lived here, then you probably had a New Zealand bank account, and in that case, it's better to have to pay with, it's convenient to pay with card. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. It's more convenient to pay with a New Zealand card rather than paying with cash. But we're kind of more talking about paying with overseas cards right now.
All right, so we have a Fred, which is here, Apan Gang, and says, good morning, gang. This is my last time to watch the show before we arrive on Tuesday. Can't wait. That is really exciting, mate. Cool. That is really cool. If you do have some, if you're feeling the cold feet and is a little bit stressed, don't worry. You can always post on the Facebook group and just ask us questions as you go and everything. Like we've done that. You've seen us doing that a lot for Oriol when he was on his trip. So yeah, go nuts with that. And also, like, give us some photos of you like about to board the plane. That'd be cool. Clay says, turn out that Father's Day, kids just gave me presents. Yes, it's Father's Day. Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody. They better make you breakfast though. And are all the presents bottles of whiskeys?
And jars of Marmite.
Hessian says, quick question, guys, and we never got the question, so we'll scroll down.
Yeah.
And so everybody's complaining about the audio. We're just going through all the backlog right here. So everybody's complaining about the audio. Anthony says he left because of the audio. Yeah, I get it. Okay, the sound is back. All right. So Sean says, I don't know if you recommended some school, but I didn't hear anything. Yeah, apologies for that. But we went through that again. Lauren says we're doing the different guides. Done that. Violet says back. Okay, cool. Lauren's mocking the fact that we did the same joke twice. Fabio is back. Hey, guys. How you doing, Fabio? Awesome. Anthony says, got you back and you're clear now. Sweet. Okay, what is Fabio saying? We are back in business, people.
Okay,
we're back in business.
We've caught up. We hopefully won't have any more technical difficulties. And we have Fabio saying, have you already talked about Rings of Power?
It is the question of the day. Good remembering, good reminder. People, we have the question of the day today. Question of the day. Ooh, question of the day. Wow. Question of the
day.
Wow, look at that. The song of the century right here. Come on, you got to love that. So today we are asking you, have you watched the new Lord of the Rings series already or not? It came out a couple of days ago. So your answer options are yes, not yet, or Lord of the what? Question mark.
Lord of the what now?
Lord of the what now? So yeah, go ahead. In about 15 minutes, we'll go over your answer and we'll see if you guys have watched it. Spoiler alert, Laura and I haven't just yet. We are...
So no spoilers.
Yeah. So we kind of are a little bit of binges, right? So we do like to have like a significant amount of things to watch rather than just watch one episode and just having to wait for so long. So we haven't watched it just yet. So no, we haven't talked about it, Fabio, just yet. Okay, what is Asian saying? Quick question.
Hessian has finally come with his quick question saying, I want to visit New Plymouth and I will be leaving from Auckland. What is the best way to go? Flight or car?
Oh, definitely by car. Drive the Forgotten World Highway, mate. It's going to be so good. It is literally going to make your trip. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to miss all the fun stuff, just take a flight there and get there quickly. Otherwise, we always recommend just generally in New Zealand getting anywhere it's definitely better by car. So,
What can they find on the Forgotten World Highway, Laura?
Well, a lot of amazing scenery.
Yeah, boy.
Also, midway down the Forgotten World Highway, you'll come across a small settlement called Ghost Town, Tangarakau.
And the Republic of Fangamomona that will give you one of the rarest passport stamps you can get in the world. And so that's worth going just for there.
Yeah.
Where this independent Republic of Fangamomona is more of a joke than anything.
They've
but
had various presidents over the years. Not all of them have been human.
No, they have had the goat and the tortoise as presidents. And you go to the pub over there and they will stamp your passport. And you have to pay a little bit for that, I think.
Yeah,
you have to make a donation.
A small fee. But
you have to put money in the donation box and they will stamp your passport with that stamp. So it's definitely driving over there, Hessian. No question. Kiwidowen says, Robin, you are a troublemaker. Yeah, well, don't insult my partner with all your French words. Basically, it means cute girl, just so you know.
Oh, well, that's nice.
All right.
All right, we have
Fabio says, flight. New Plymouth, quite a drive. Yes, but a fun drive. What about a fun drive rather than a short flight? I mean, I take a fun drive any day of the week.
Yeah.
Helen, what did she say?
Helen says, I was meant to travel to London on Thursday the 15th for my flight on the 16th, but due to rail strikes, I've had to travel 2 days earlier to London.
Oh, well, I heard there's things to do in London.
Yeah, there's a few things.
Yeah. They have like big red buses. Here you go. That's an activity in itself.
Is Madame Tussauds still a thing?
I was about to say, do they still have like those creepy wax
That was
things?
really weird.
That's so creepy, those waxing things.
They were all really bad as well. It's meant to be like looking like lifelike celebrities, but they just look like sort of oily, really bad
I went to the Madame Tussauds in Las Vegas when I was over there, and seeing a bug-eyed wax figuring of Johnny Depp was very creepy. That's the thing I still vividly remember. Like, it was really strongly bug-eyed, like really wrong. It just really didn't work well at all. That was just so odd.
I think the worst one I saw was one of Jennifer Aniston. It was just like a really bad one.
Oh, with all her recent plastic surgery, she's a living wax doll, let's be honest.
Maybe now it looks... Oh, that's so cheeky, Robin.
All right. Moving on from that.
Poor Jennifer. Anyway, we are on to, I think Fabio saying, I've already watched it and really loved it.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's as much as I want to hear from you. Don't spoil it for us.
Yeah. Lawrence says, I'm waiting for all the episodes to be out and staying off the internet in the meantime.
Yeah, that's technically similar to what we're doing.
Yeah. And then Fabio's continuing to talk about going from Auckland to New Plymouth, saying, if you want to travel, do the car. But if you are in business, take a flight.
Oh, Hessian is definitely here for travel, right, Hessian?
Yeah. I mean, aren't we all here for travel?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's just enjoy the drive on the creepy ghost town and Republic of Fangamomona. You love it.
Highway. Woo.
All right. Clay says, where is the Rock River Slide?
That's near Gisborne, the Rere Rock Slide.
Rere Rock Slide, yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive out of Gisborne.
But it's worth doing because there's quite a few things around.
It's a good day trip. So.
Yeah, because you get the Rere falls as well, which are different and they're looking really, really cool as well. So it's a really cool waterfall. Take some really cool shot, and you're gonna get some really good shot there with the whole family. And also there is the Eastland Arboretum, which is nearby as well. So there's quite Eastwood Arboretum. Sorry. There's quite a lot of things to do there. Yeah. It's worth driving there for sure.
Eastwood Hill Arboretum.
We can Eastland, Eastwood Hill. Well, one of the East Arboretum. East Arboretum.
It's the largest arboretum in New Zealand.
Yes.
So
and
go check it out.
You can do the curator's tour,
yes, you can.
which you literally take you in this four-wheel drive and drive you around
instead of using your own legs to walk.
Yes, that's
it's quite nice. And then when you get on your way back into Gisborne, you're going through the wine region of Gisborne, so you can stop for a few tastings on your way back.
Yeah, and I mean, let me add some more stuff as well. The visitor center of the Arboretum genuinely is fantastic for kids. There is a lot of things to play and touch around and visit and everything. So I know you're traveling with the families. I think they're absolutely going to love it. And they're going to be very excited. And therefore, you need the wine on the drive back.
Yeah. Do check if there's any sort of safety alerts on the Gisborne Council website before you go to the Riri Rock Slide, because sometimes the water quality isn't that safe for people.
That is true.
We do have a link on the website under things to do in Gisborne.
I think it's Kiwi, doesn't care.
If you don't mind. I mean, if you have Marmite, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there might be some nasty stuff in the water, so just double check that before you go. And you will have to bring your own bodyboards and inflatables to enjoy it.
Yes.
All right.
Haitian say, thanks guys, I'll take your advice. Nice. Well, make sure you take some photos for us on the Forgotten World. It's really cool, especially when you go arrive at the place called the Moki Tunnel. I want to see your face before you drive through it, please.
If you can get reception.
Just take the photo, send it to me later.
Afterwards. Oh, that's how that
you
works.
must have internet.
Does it? All right.
Violet Zulu says, good night, guys. See you next week. I was busy the whole day. All right, so make sure you...
tight.
Yes, you have a nice rest. Anthony says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Again, Laura still doesn't have a t-shirt saying that.
No.
Sean, what does he say?
Sean says, we'll be starting a job in Auckland. Where would be the most cost-effective place to stay close to Auckland for 2 adults and 1 child as a newcomer to New Zealand?
Well, nowhere near Auckland. Auckland is by far the most expensive city in New Zealand, alongside with Wellington. So there's really no, like, with the recent housing crisis, there's been kind of almost an evening of prices between all the suburbs and everything. So there's really nothing much cheaper than another. However, if you go on NZ Pocket Guide, I'll show you something quickly. Because yes, I've take a shot because I just mentioned the website again. If you go here, we have long-term accommodation right here, and then we're actually going to be in there. We're going to detail all the different suburbs of a lot of places in Auckland. So we have the long-term accommodation guide to Auckland somewhere. No, it's not there. Where is it? Am I doing that wrong? I'm doing it wrong.
What
Sorry.
are you looking for?
The long-term accommodation.
Go to accommodation.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Long-term... weekly accommodation. There you go. I did it wrong. Weekly accommodation guide. Because in New Zealand, you pay rent weekly. You kind of pretty much everything weekly. So... here you go, my apologies. So weekly accommodation guide, and then North Island cities, and then you have a breakdown of all the different cities with the kind of rent price that you can expect for each different city. So yeah, we do have Auckland right here. We even have Auckland region. So if you're willing to go further afield from the Auckland city, you can check the Auckland region right here, and you will also have some full breakdown to help you out. So again, you go on NZ Pocket Guide, then accommodation, then weekly accommodation guide, then North Island cities, and you'll have the breakdown right here. But again, we're not really real estate advisor, right? We're more here to talk about like fun things to do and everything, like visiting.
Yeah. And just to bear in mind that article that Robin was showing you is more sort of price breakdown for people looking for house shares or room shares. Like, in a sort of shared house, it's more for people who are maybe students or working holiday people. But by looking at the sort of, you'll probably get an idea of which suburbs are probably a bit cheaper, compared to other places. So just bear that in mind. It's not exactly going to be catered to what you're looking for, but it should give you an idea on, where's cheaper than other suburbs in Auckland.
Spider-Meg says, morning, good to see you again. Just got home swinging around. He's back on his web.
Oh, yeah? Did you catch any bad guys today, or was it not so good?
Spider-Meg is back on the web.
Yeah.
Okay, Clay says, if all else fails, Marmite. Yep. I realized actually something funny. So you guys remember that I posted a photo of like the classic Kiwi shopping cart in the Patreon group, right? I realized that I left the trolley somewhere without putting the items back. So somebody must have like seen the trolley and say, this person could not have been more Kiwi. So yeah. Kiwi Lauren says, Marmite. I feel like I need to try it again when I come back. No, I hated it.
I feel like we talk about it so much that we're just making people curious to try it, but just don't. Sometimes I have nightmares about that. We were trying Marmite because we heard it was a good way to stop sandflies from biting you. It does not work. It was just awful. We were like, gagging trying to eat that stuff because we were like, it's gonna stop the sandflies. We have to go through with it. But so disgusting. We even mixed it with jam to try and make it better, and then that kind of ruined jam for me as well. I was like, God, I can't even stand the smell of jam.
Do you remember
anymore.
the one time when we actually tried to use it with chocolate spread? We mixed it with chocolate spread. That was terrible as well.
I think I might have blanked that on my memory. If that sounds bad, yeah.
I didn't think it sounds bad if you put Marmite on there. There's no way.
It is so bad.
Anyway, let's stop talking about Marmite. Can I have a...
This is the token part of the show where we talk about Marmite for 10 minutes.
Can we please stop that token part? I would like to never have this
We
token
need a
part
new
in my show.
section now with a new jingle like "My mic time."
No, it's gonna be just puking noises. Oh my god. All right. Clay says, "What a legend! Did you also go in your pajamas?"
Yeah, to the supermarket with your.
Yeah, I'm not really like yet there, you know, but this will come. You know, sometimes when we go like, oh, we just forgot something, we go to the local supermarket, you know, like, so we drive over there and things, and you know, we see everybody in their bathrobes and everything. We're like, oh, we should have tried. But I have to say, we went through a drive-through once.
I was gonna say, we have been guilty of going through a drive-through with our dressing gowns.
Yeah. We had the dressing gown. We had like a jacket over. It's like they'll notice nothing. We just leave that up, like in flippers and everything. So we've done that once. Not flippers, sorry. Sleepers. Scuba.
Can you imagine, like, with your mask ordering a
That'd be fine.
Burger King?
Anyway, so yeah, we've done that once. All right, let's do the question of the day. Let's close it up and let's see what has happened.
The results are in.
The great result, because it's almost over. I almost have to get back to the Patreon live session now. Question of the day. Question of the day.
I like the key change there.
Woo! Question of the day. All right, so the question of the day today, good people of the internet, we ask you, have you watched the new Lord of the Rings series? So not yet. So 62% of you guys are planning on watching it, but you haven't watched it yet. So a little bit like Lawrence and like us, you are waiting to have a few more episodes to bite into. Then we have a big yes at 28%, and Lord of the What gathered 9% of the vote. So the trolls are 9%. I make sure I include something for the trolls, obviously.
Yeah.
And
we're very inclusive in this live
that's
show.
genuinely what I would have clicked on, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel for you guys. I definitely do. All right. So here's what's going to happen for this week. We do have much more videos for you coming with those like under 5-minute kind of videos. I've recorded even more, and there's much more coming up. And so yeah, we're slowly wrapping up. So again, in about the next 10 days, we probably will have wrapped up, and that will have created an entire travel guide to New Zealand in a video format. So I hope that you guys find that super useful. If you feel like watching them and sharing them, that'd be lovely, just because we really get very little traction on them, despite the fact that we put a lot of work behind them. So it's up to you guys, but if you feel like doing that, go nuts. So that's what's going to happen. Then just after this one right here, just after this live session, we're going to do host a Patreon live session. So that's going to be another hour of this show, and that's happening every single week. Now today is only the 4th of September. If you join us on Patreon, first up, you can cancel at any time, but second, you're only in charge on the 1st of the month. So if you want to join us today, you get an entire free month, which is pretty awesome. So consider doing that. You get plenty of awesome perks, such as access to a secret Facebook group. So if you're traveling in New Zealand imminently, you know, you're going to be able to get access to us and ask us questions as you go, which is always quite handy. We've seen that a lot with Oriol, for example, recently, so that was quite cool. And also share some photos and share with a lot of like-minded, we have about 20 people, like-minded people, which is really a lot of fun. We also have extra live sessions, PDF guides, and much more. So consider joining us. There's a link in the description below. Okay, what's the last comment of the day?
The last comment we have is from Clay saying, it's very common in South Dunedin to see PJs at the super.
Yeah, I mean, it's common, I think, pretty much around New Zealand. Like everywhere I've lived in New Zealand, I've seen, you know, as soon as it becomes the evening, all the early mornings, sometimes I feel like this person just do it for
midday.
No, I've never seen anyone in midday, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, and you, do you see that in France or at all? Or did you ever see that in France?
I don't know. I haven't lived in France so long. Do you think I remember my last supermarket shopping?
Do you not? I remember.
No, I don't. All of mine. Sorry, Miss Perfect Memory. I'm an Android. Honestly. Right here. Let me just access my database of the. Oh yeah, I remember the 4th of August, yes. The 20.
Good sale that day. Good
2022.
Sale.
I remember grabbing that baked beans in Tom Sauce can over there in the supermarket. I got a good deal. I got 2 for 1 right here. That is 2 good meal right here.
Yep. Good deal on baked beans that day in the UK. Okay, so, and then we finally have Spider-Mech saying, Lord of the Ring? Did you say Lord of the Rings without an S again, Robin?
Did I do that? No, I put an S.
Oh, no. But did you say it? Because you usually say it out loud, right?
Oh, yeah. I always forget the S.
I've learned to just, like, tone it out. That Robin always forgets to say the S at the end of Lord of the Rings. So it's always like, yeah, Lord of the Ring. I think you may have slipped there again, Robin. I'm going to have some talks.
How many rings is there in that movie? I think they only carry one. It's already take 9 hours to carry one. Do they really have to do one more? Like, honestly?
There's multiple rings. There's like
Oh, yeah.
7 rings for the orcs, 5 rings for the dwarves. So, you know, it's all the rings, and then 1 ring to rule them all. Honestly.
Well, 1 ring then.
Did you not listen on our Hobbiton tour that we did?
Anyway.
As you can see, Robin is a big Lord of the Rings
I love
fan.
it. Yeah, it's fantasy. I'm kind of really cooling off on fantasy. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
I want good sci-fi, peeps. I want good sci-fi. All right. Anyway, that wraps up this one today. We will do the same live session next week. So come in with your questions. If you are in New Zealand, some of those of you that are traveling very shortly, make sure to come and tell us how much you're enjoying your trip. In the meantime, you all stay safe for the week, and we see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye.